My Life in London, 1847. Hello. My name is Sarah. I am 23 years old. I live in London, England. The year is 1847. This is my story. I wake up early every day. The sun is not up yet. My small room is cold. I get out of bed and put on my dress. It is old but clean. I brush my long brown hair. I look in the mirror. I see my blue eyes. They look tired. I live with my parents and my little brother Tom. He is 10 years old. Our house is small. We have 2 rooms. My parents sleep in one room. Tom and I sleep in the other room. I go to the kitchen. It is also our living room. My mother is there. She makes breakfast. It is bread and tea. We do not have much food. But my mother always tries to make good meals. "Good morning, Sarah," my mother says. She smiles at me. Her face looks old. She works hard every day. "Good morning, Mother," I say. I help her with breakfast. My father comes in. He looks tired. He works in a factory. The work is hard. He does not smile much, but he is a good man. "Hello, Father," I say. He nods at me. "Sarah," he says. Then he sits down. Tom runs in. He is always full of energy. "Sarah," he shouts. He hugs me. I laugh and hug him back. We eat breakfast together. It is quiet. We are all thinking about the day ahead. After breakfast, I put on my coat and shoes. I say goodbye to my family. I walk to work. The streets are busy. There are many people. Some are rich. They wear nice clothes. They ride in carriages. Most are poor like me. We walk. I work in a big house. Belongs to a rich family. I am a maid there. The work is hard, but I am happy to have a job. Many people do not have work. I clean the house. I wash clothes. I help cook meals. Family is not always kind, but some of them are nice. The young daughter, Miss Emily, is my friend. She is 12 years old. She likes to talk to me. "Sarah, tell me a story," Miss Emily says. She sits in her big room. I am cleaning. "I'm sorry, Miss Emily. I have to work," I say. She looks sad. "Please, just a short one," she says. I smile. "Okay, a very short one," I say. I tell her a story about a brave girl who helps her family. Miss Emily likes it. "Thank you, Sarah," she says. "You tell the best stories." I go back to work. The day is long. My back hurts. My hands are red from cleaning. But I think about my family. I work hard for them. At the end of the day, I walk home. The streets are dark now. I am tired, but I am happy to go home. At home, my mother has made soup. It smells good. We eat together. Tom tells us about his day. He goes to school sometimes. When he can't go to school, he works. He sells newspapers on the street. I sold many newspapers today. Tom says. He is proud. "Well done, Tom," my father says. He smiles a little. After dinner, I help clean up. Then I sit by the fire. I take out my book. I am learning to read better. It is hard, but I like it. I dream of writing my own stories one day. My mother sits next to me. She is sewing. She fixes our old clothes. How was your day, Sarah? She asks. It was okay, Mother, I say. Miss Emily asked for a story again. My mother smiles. You are good with stories. Maybe one day you can write them down. I nod. I hope so, I say. Soon it is time for bed. I am very tired. But before I sleep, I think about my dreams. I want to write stories. I want to help my family have a better life. I want to see the world outside of London. I know life is hard, but I have hope. I will work hard. I will learn more. Maybe one day my dreams will come true. As I fall asleep, I think about tomorrow. Another day of work. Another day of helping my family. Another day of dreaming. This is my life in London in 1847. It is not easy, but it is my life. And I will make the best of it. The next morning I wake up early again. It is still dark outside. I can hear the rain. It often rains in London. I get up quietly. I don't want to wake Tom. He is still sleeping. I put on my dress and my apron. They are clean but old. I try to take good care of my clothes. We can't afford new ones often. In the kitchen, my father is already awake. He sits at the table drinking tea. He looks tired. He always looks tired. Good morning, Father, I say softly. He looks up at me. Morning, Sarah, he says. His voice is rough. Coughs a lot. The factory air is bad for his lungs. I make some tea for myself. We don't have much food for breakfast. Just some bread. I eat a little. I will be hungry later, but that's normal. My mother comes in. She looks worried. Sarah, she says, Mrs. Brown next door is sick. Can you check on her after work? I nod. Of course, Mother, I say. We try to help our neighbors when we can. Life is hard for everyone. I put on my coat and my old boots. They let water in when it rains. My feet will be wet all day. But I don't complain. Many people don't even have boots. I say goodbye to my family and step outside. The rain is cold. The streets are muddy. I walk quickly to work. Many other people are walking too. Workers, maids, shop boys. We all hurry in the rain. The big house, I go in through the back door. Kitchen is warm. Mrs. Peters, the cook, is already working. Good morning, Sarah, she says. She is mixing something in a big bowl. It smells good. Good morning, Mrs. Peters, I say. I take off my wet coat. There's extra work today, Mrs. Peters says. The family is having guests for dinner. I nod. Extra work means a longer day. But it might also mean leftover food to take home. That would be good for my family. I start my work. I clean the fireplaces first. It's dirty work. The soot gets on my face and hands. But the family likes warm, clean fireplaces. As I work, I think about my dreams. I imagine writing stories. I think about the characters I would create. Maybe a brave girl who has adventures, or a kind boy who helps others. In my stories, poor people can become happy and successful. Sarah, it's Mrs. Wilson, the housekeeper. Her voice is sharp. Stop daydreaming and work faster. I jump. Yes, Mrs. Wilson. Sorry, I say quickly. I work faster. Can't lose this job. My family needs the money I earn. The morning passes quickly. There is so much to do. Clean and dust and scrub. My arms are tired. My back hurts. But I keep working. Midday, I have a short break. I eat a small piece of bread and cheese in the kitchen. Some of the other maids are there too. Did you hear? Mary, another maid, says, "There's a new factory opening. They need workers." I listen carefully. My father needs a better job. The factory he works in now is dangerous. Where is it? I ask Mary. She tells me. I try to remember the details. I will tell my father later. After the break, I go back to work. In the afternoon, I help prepare the guest rooms. I change the sheets and dust the furniture. The beds are so soft. The blankets are warm. I think about my own hard bed at home. As I work, I hear Miss Emily in the next room. She is having a lesson with her tutor. I listen while I clean. She is learning about faraway places. Africa, India, America. I try to imagine these places. They sound exciting and strange. Later, Miss Emily sees me in the hallway. "Sarah," she says happily. "I learned about elephants today. They are so big." I smile at her. "That sounds very interesting, Miss Emily," I say. She nods. "I want to see a real elephant one day," she says. "Do you think I will?" "I'm sure you will, Miss Emily," I say. I don't tell her that I want to see an elephant too, but I know I probably never will. The afternoon goes by quickly. Soon it's time for the guests to arrive. I help serve dinner. The dining room is beautiful. There are flowers and candles. The food smells wonderful. I am careful not to spill anything as I serve. The family and their guests don't look at me. To them, I am just a maid. But I listen to their talk. They speak about politics and business. I don't understand everything, but I try to learn. After dinner, I help clean up. Mrs. Peters gives me some leftover food to take home. I am very happy. My family will eat well tonight. It is late when I leave work. The rain has stopped. The streets are quiet now. I walk quickly. It's not safe for a young woman to be out alone at night. At home, my family is happy to see the food I brought. We eat together. I tell them about the new factory. My father listens carefully. "I will go there tomorrow," he says. "Thank you, Sarah." I smile. I am glad I could help. After dinner, I sit by the fire again. I take out my book. I read a little. The words are hard, but I am getting better. Tom sits next to me. "Teach me, Sarah," he says. He wants to learn to read too. I nod. "Okay, Tom," I say. I show him some simple words. He tries hard to understand. As I teach Tom, I think about my own learning. I want to know more. I want to write my own stories. Maybe one day I can do more than just dream. Soon it's time for bed. I am very tired. My body aches from the hard work. But my mind is full of thoughts and hopes. I lie in my bed. Tom is already asleep next to me. I look out the small window. Can see a bit of the night sky. There are a few stars. I think about my day. It was hard like always, but there were good things too. I helped my father. I brought food home. I taught Tom some words. I think about tomorrow. Another day of work. Another day of small hopes and big dreams. I don't know what will happen, but I will keep trying. I will keep learning. I will keep dreaming. As I fall asleep, I imagine a better future. For me, for my family, for all the poor people in London. Maybe just a dream now. But maybe, just maybe, it can become real one day. This is my life in London in 1847. It is hard, but it is also full of hope. And as long as I have hope, I can face each new day. The next day is Sunday. It's our day of rest. I don't have to go to work at the big house. I wake up later than usual. The sun is already up. It's a rare sunny day in London. I get out of bed quietly. Tom is still sleeping. I put on my best dress. It's not really very nice, but it's the best I have. We will go to church today. In the kitchen, my mother is making breakfast. It's a special day, so we have eggs. The smell makes my stomach growl. Good morning, Mother, I say. I help her with the cooking. Good morning, Sarah, she says. She looks less tired today. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? I nod. Yes, it is, I say. I look out the small window. The sky is blue. It makes me feel happy. My father and Tom come in. We all sit down to eat. It's nice to be together without rushing. We talk and laugh a little. These moments are rare, but they are precious. After breakfast, we get ready for church. We all try to look our best. My mother has sewn patches on Tom's trousers. My father has polished his old shoes. We walk to the church together. The streets are quieter on Sunday. Some shops are closed. We see other families walking to church too. We nod and smile at people we know. Church is old and beautiful. The sun shines through the colorful windows. We find seats near the back. The wood is hard, but I don't mind. I like being here. The service starts. Priest talks about hope and kindness. I listen carefully. His words make me feel stronger. They remind me that there is good in the world, even when life is hard. After church, we walk home slowly. The day is still sunny. We don't want to rush. These peaceful moments are rare. Sarah, my mother says as we walk. Mrs. Davis asked if you could help her with sewing this afternoon. She will pay a little. I nod. Of course, I say. Extra money is always good. And I like sewing. It's easier than cleaning. At home, we have a simple lunch. Then I go to Mrs. Davis's house. She is old and her eyes are not good. She needs help with fine sewing. Thank you for coming, Sarah, Mrs. Davis says. She smiles at me. Her face is full of wrinkles, but her eyes are kind. You're welcome, Mrs. Davis, I say. I sit down and start to sew. As we work, Mrs. Davis tells me stories. She has lived in London all her life. She has seen many changes. Some good, some bad. You're a good girl, Sarah, she says. You work hard. You help others. Don't lose your kindness. It's important. I nod. Thank you, Mrs. Davis, I say. Her words make me feel good. We sew for several hours. My fingers get sore, but I don't mind. The work is peaceful. When we finish, Mrs. Davis gives me some money and a small bag of apples. For your family, she says. I thank her and say goodbye. At home, I give the money to my mother. She looks relieved. This will help a lot, she says. Thank you, Sarah. We have the apples for dinner. They are sweet and juicy. It's a rare treat. We all enjoy them. After dinner, I sit by the fire again. I take out my book. But today I also have a piece of paper and a pencil. I want to try writing my own story. I think for a long time. Then I start to write. The words come slowly. I have to think hard about how to spell them. But I keep trying. I write about a girl who lives in London. She is poor like me. But she has a secret. She can talk to animals. They help her and she helps them. Together they have adventures and help people. As I write, I forget about my tired body. I forget about the hard work waiting for me tomorrow. I am lost in my story. Feels wonderful. Tom sees me writing. "What are you doing, Sarah?" he asks. "I'm writing a story," I say. "Would you like to hear it?" He nods eagerly. I read him what I have written. It's not very good, I know. But Tom listens with wide eyes. "That's amazing, Sarah," he says when I finish. "You should write more." I smile. "Maybe I will," I say. His excitement makes me happy. Soon it's time for bed again. As I lie down, I think about my day. It was a good day. Church, sewing, apples, writing. Small things, but they make life better. I think about my story. Maybe I will write more. Maybe one day I can write stories that many people will read. It's a big dream. But today it feels a little closer. As I fall asleep, I feel hopeful. Tomorrow will be hard again. Back to work, back to cleaning and serving. Hello again. It's me, Sarah. I am 33 years old now. It's been 10 years since I last told you my story. A lot has changed, but some things are the same. I still live in London. The year is 1857 now. Let me tell you what happened in these 10 years. I wake up in my small room. It's not the same room as before. I have my own room now. It's small, but it's mine. I get out of bed and look in the mirror. My hair is still brown, but I see some gray hairs now. My blue eyes look less tired than before. I put on my dress. It's not old or patched. It's not fancy, but it's nice. I brush my hair and go to the kitchen. Our house is bigger now. We have 3 rooms. Still small, but better than before. My mother is in the kitchen. She looks older, but happier. "Good morning, Sarah," she says with a smile. "Good morning, Mother," I say. I help her make breakfast. We have eggs and bread. We have more food now. My father comes in. He walks slowly. He doesn't work in the factory anymore. The new job I found for him 10 years ago was better. He worked there until last year. Now he's too old to work. But we take care of him. Tom runs in. He's not little anymore. He's 20 years old now. He's tall and strong. "Hello, Sarah," he says. He gives me a big hug. We eat breakfast together. We talk and laugh. Life is still hard sometimes, but it's better than before. After breakfast, I get ready to go out. I don't work as a maid anymore. Remember how I loved to write stories? Well, I never stopped writing. I got better and better. Now I write stories for a small newspaper. It's not a big job, but I love it. I walk to the newspaper office. The streets are busy like always, but I walk with my head high now. I'm not just a poor maid anymore. I'm a writer. The office, I sit at my small desk. I write stories about London. I write about poor people, rich people, and everyone in between. I try to tell the truth about life in our city. My boss, Mr. Thompson, comes to my desk. Sarah, he says, your story about the orphanage was very good. People liked it. Can you write more like that? I smile. Yes, Mr. Thompson, I say. I have many more stories to tell. I work hard all day. I write and I talk to people. I learn new things every day. It's not easy, but I love it. Lunchtime, I eat with my friend Emma. She works at the newspaper, too. We sit in a small park near the office. Sarah, Emma says, did you hear? They're opening a new school for poor children. They need teachers. I listen carefully. I think about Tom. He loves to learn. That's interesting, I say. Maybe Tom could teach there. After work, I walk home. The streets are busy. But now I know many people. I say hello to the shopkeepers and my neighbors. At home, I tell Tom about the new school. His eyes light up. Do you think I could be a teacher? He asks. I nod. I think you would be a great teacher, Tom, I say. You're smart and kind. Children will like you. Tom smiles. I'll try to get a job there, he says. We have dinner together. My mother has cooked a nice meal. We're not rich, but we have enough food now. We talk about our day. My father tells us about the book he's reading. I'm teaching him to read better. He's learning slowly, but he's proud. After dinner, I sit by the fire. I take out my notebook. I start to write a new story. It's about a boy who becomes a teacher. I think about Tom as I write. My mother sits next to me. She's still sewing, but now she makes pretty things to sell. What are you writing, Sarah? She asks. A new story, Mother, I say. About a teacher. She smiles. Your stories are so good, Sarah, she says. I'm proud of you. I feel happy. Life is still hard sometimes. But we're doing better. My family is healthier and happier. I'm doing work I love. Tom might become a teacher. As I get ready for bed, I think about the past 10 years. So much has changed. I worked hard. I never stopped learning. I never stopped dreaming. And slowly things got better. I look out my window. I can see more stars now. The air is a little cleaner. London is changing too, slowly getting better. I think about tomorrow. Another day of writing stories. Another day of learning and helping others. I'm excited to see what will happen. This is my life in London in 1857. It's not perfect, but it's good. I still have dreams. I want to write books that everyone will read. I want to help more people. I want to see London become a better place for everyone. As I fall asleep, I feel happy and hopeful. The future looks bright. And I'm ready for it. The next morning, I wake up early. The sun is just coming up. I like this quiet time of the day. I get dressed and go to the kitchen. I make tea for everyone. My father comes in. He walks slowly, but he smiles when he sees me. Good morning, Sarah, he says. You're up early. Good morning, Father, I say. I give him a cup of tea. How did you sleep? Not bad, he says. He sits at the table. I was thinking about your latest story. It's good, Sarah. You have a gift. I feel warm inside. My father doesn't say much, but when he does, it means a lot. Thank you, Father, I say. I'm glad you like it. My mother and Tom come in. We have breakfast together. Tom is excited about the new school. I'm going to ask about teaching there today, he says. Good luck, Tom, I say. You'll be great. After breakfast, I walk to the newspaper office. The morning is cool and fresh. I see children going to school. Some of them are poor like I was, but now more of them can go to school. Things are changing. The office, I start working on my new story. I write about the new school, talk about how education can change lives. I think about my own life as I write. Mr. Thompson comes to my desk again. Sarah, he says, I have big news. A book publisher read your stories. They want to talk to you about writing a book. I can't believe it. A book? My own book? Really? I say. My heart is beating fast. Mr. Thompson nods. Yes, really, he says. They're coming here tomorrow to meet you. I'm so excited. This is my dream. To write a book that many people will read. To tell stories that can change things. Lunchtime, I go to the park again. I sit on a bench. I look at the people walking by. I think about all the stories they have. All the stories I could write. A small girl comes up to me. She looks poor and hungry. Please, miss, she says. Do you have any food? I look at her. I remember being hungry like that. I give her my lunch and some money. Here, I say, and stay in school if you can. It will help you. She smiles at me. Thank you, miss, she says. She runs off. I go back to work. I think about that girl as I write. I want to write stories that will help children like her. After work, I walk home quickly. I can't wait to tell my family the news. When I get home, Tom is there. He looks happy. Sarah, he says, I got the teaching job. I start next week. I hug him. That's wonderful, Tom. I say, I'm so proud of you. Then I tell them my news. About the book publisher. My mother cries a little. Happy tears. My father pats my hand. He doesn't say anything, but his eyes are shining. We have a special dinner to celebrate. We talk about the future. About Tom's new job. About my book. We're all excited. After dinner, I sit down to write again. I start planning my book. It will be about London, about poor people who work hard and dream big, about how things can get better. As I write, I think about my life. 10 years ago, I was a poor maid. Now I'm a writer. I'm going to write a book. It hasn't been easy, but I never gave up. I look out the window. The stars are bright tonight. I think about all the people in London, all the stories waiting to be told, all the lives that could be changed. I go to bed late. My mind is full of ideas. My heart is full of hope. Tomorrow is a big day. I'll meet the book publisher. I'll start on a new adventure. As I fall asleep, I think about that little girl in the park. I want to write stories that will give her hope, that will show her she can dream big too. This is my life in London in 1857. It's a life of stories, of dreams coming true, of working hard to make things better. And I'm just getting started. Hello again. Sarah. I am 35 years old now. 2 years have passed since I last told you my story. A lot has changed. I don't live in London anymore. I moved to Manchester. The year is 1859. Let me tell you what happened. I wake up in my new room. It's bigger than my old room in London. I look out the window. I see brick buildings and factories. Manchester is different from London. Smaller, but it's growing fast. I get dressed and go to the kitchen. It's quiet. I live alone now. I make my tea and some toast. I miss my family, but I'm excited about my new life. 2 years ago, I wrote my first book. It was about life in London. People liked it. They wanted more. A big newspaper in Manchester offered me a job. They wanted me to write about life here. It was hard to leave London, but it was a good chance for me. My family understood. They were sad but happy for me. Tom is a good teacher now. He takes care of our parents. I send them money when I can. I finish my breakfast and get ready for work. I put on my coat. It's new and warm. I bought it with money from my book. I feel proud when I wear it. I walk to the newspaper office. The streets are busy. There are many workers. They go to the cotton mills and factories. Manchester is famous for cotton. The office, I sit at my desk. It's bigger than my old one in London. I have my own small office now. On the wall, there's a picture of my family. I look at it and smile. My new boss, Mr. Roberts, comes in. "Good morning, Sarah," he says. "How's the new article coming along?" "Good morning, Mr. Roberts," I say. "It's going well. I'm writing about the child workers in the mills." He nods. "Good, good. People need to know about this. Your London stories help change things there. Maybe you can do the same here." I smile. This is why I love my job. I can help people by telling their stories. I work hard all morning. I write about the children who work long hours in the mills. It's a sad story, but it's important. I want people to know. I want things to change. Lunchtime, I go to a small park. It's not as big as the parks in London, but it's nice. I sit on a bench and eat my sandwich. A small boy comes up to me. He looks tired. "Hello," I say. "Are you okay?" He nods. "Yes, miss. Just tired. I work in the mill." My heart feels heavy. This is why I write. For children like him. I give him my apple. "Stay strong," I say. "Things will get better." After lunch, I go back to work. I finish my article. Then I start planning my next book. It will be about Manchester. About the workers, the mills, the changes happening here. After work, I walk home. I stop at a small shop. I buy some paper and ink. I like to write at home too. The shopkeeper knows me now. "Evening, Miss Sarah," he says. "Writing more stories?" I nod. "Always," I say with a smile. At home, I make my dinner. Simple but good. I'm learning to cook better. As I eat, I read a letter from my family. They're doing well. Tom's school is growing. My parents are proud of both of us. After dinner, I sit by the fire. I take out my notebook. I start writing. I write about the boy I met in the park. I imagine a better life for him. In my story, he goes to school. He becomes a teacher like Tom. As I write, I think about my life. 2 years ago, I was nervous about moving. Now I feel at home in Manchester. I miss London and my family. But I'm doing important work here. I write late into the night. When I finally go to bed, I feel tired but happy. Tomorrow I'll go to the mills. I'll talk to the workers. I'll learn their stories. Then I'll write about them. I'll make sure people know. As I fall asleep, I think about the future. I want to write more books. I want to help make Manchester a better place. Just like I did in London. It won't be easy. But I'm ready. This is my life now in Manchester in 1859. It's a life of new challenges, of important stories, of making a difference. And I'm excited to see what happens next. The next morning, I wake up early. The sound of factory whistles fills the air. Manchester wakes up with the mills. I get ready quickly. Today is an important day. I'm going to visit a cotton mill. I eat a quick breakfast. Then I put on my sturdy boots. The streets can be muddy. I take my notebook and pencils. I never go anywhere without them. There are always stories to write. As I walk to the mill, I see crowds of workers. Men, women, and children. They all look tired. The morning is cold and gray, but they walk quickly. They can't be late for work. At the mill, I meet Mr. Thompson. He's the owner. He's a stern-looking man. "Miss Sarah," he says. "Remember, you can look, but don't disturb the workers." I nod. But in my mind, I promise to tell the truth about what I see. Inside the mill, it's loud. The machines roar. The air is thick with cotton dust. I see workers at the machines. Many are children. They look so small next to the big machines. I talk to some workers during their short break. A woman named Mary tells me her story. She works 14 hours a day. Her hands are rough from the work. But she's proud she can feed her children. "It's hard," Mary says. "But what choice do we have? We must work to live." I write everything in my notebook. Every story, every face, every detail. This is important. People need to know. After the mill, I go back to the newspaper office. My clothes are dusty. My throat feels rough from the cotton dust. But my notebook is full. I have so much to write. I start working on my article right away. I write about Mary, about the children at the machines, about the dust and the noise, but I also write about the pride of the workers, their strength. Mr. Roberts comes to check on me. "How was the mill, Sarah?" he asks. "Eye-opening," I say. "There's so much to tell." He nods. "Good. Your articles are making a difference, you know. The people are talking. His words make me feel good. This is why I do this. To make a difference. I work late into the evening. When I finally leave, the streets are quiet. The workers are home now, or maybe at the pubs trying to forget the long day. At home, I'm tired. But I can't stop thinking about the mill, about the stories I heard. I sit down and start writing again. Not for the newspaper this time, for my book. I write about a young girl working in the mill. But in my story, she learns to read. She writes about her life. Her words help change things. It's not just a story. It's my hope for the future. As I get ready for bed, I think about London, about my family. I miss them, but I know I'm where I need to be. Manchester needs its stories told, and I'm here to tell them. I look out my window. The city is dark now, but tomorrow it will wake up again. The mills will roar, the workers will work, and I'll be there writing it all down. This is my life in Manchester in 1859. It's not always easy, but it's important. Every day I learn new stories. Every day I try to make a difference. And every night I dream of a better future. For Manchester, for the workers, for everyone. As I fall asleep, I'm already thinking about tomorrow. Another day. Another story. Another chance to change things one word at a time. A special meeting in Manchester, 1859. Hello again, Sarah. I'm still 35 years old. I'm still in Manchester. But something new and exciting has happened. I met someone special. His name is John. He's 25 years old. Let me tell you about it. It's a sunny Sunday morning. I decide to go for a walk in the park. It's my day off from the newspaper. I like to relax and watch people on Sundays. Sometimes I get ideas for my stories. I sit on a bench with my notebook. I start writing about the flowers and the trees. Suddenly, a dog runs up to me. It's a big, friendly dog. Puts its head on my lap. I'm so sorry. I hear a voice say. I look up. I see a young man running towards me. He's tall with brown hair and kind eyes. He's smiling and looks a bit embarrassed. It's okay, I say, patting the dog. He's very friendly. The young man reaches us. This is Max, he says. He loves meeting new people. I'm John, by the way. Nice to meet you, John, I say. I'm Sarah. And I love dogs, so it's no problem at all. John sits down next to me. We start talking. He tells me he works at the library. He loves books as much as I do. We talk about our favorite stories. What do you do, Sarah? John asks. I'm a writer, I say. I work for the newspaper. I write about life in Manchester. John's eyes light up. Really? I've read some articles about the mill workers recently. They were very good. Was that you? I nod, feeling happy. It's nice to meet someone who has read my work. Yes, that was me, I say. We talk for a long time. John is very interesting. He tells me about the books in the library, about the people who come to read, about his dreams to open a school someday. Education is so important, he says, especially for the poor children here in Manchester. I agree with him. I tell him about my brother Tom, who is a teacher in London, about how education changed my life too. The sun starts to set. We've been talking all day. It doesn't feel like we just met. It feels like we've known each other for a long time. I have to go, John says. He looks sad to leave. But maybe we could meet again? I'd love to hear more about your writing. I smile. I'd like that, I say. We agree to meet next Sunday, same time, same place. As I walk home, I feel happy. I think about John. He's younger than me, but he's very mature. He's kind and smart. I like him. At home, I make my dinner. As I eat, I think about my day, about John and Max the dog, about our conversation. I start writing in my notebook. Maybe I'll write a story about a librarian someday. Before I go to bed, I look out my window. The stars are bright tonight. I think about next Sunday. I'm excited to see John again. As I fall asleep, I smile. Manchester has been my home for a while now, but today it feels even more like home. Meeting John has made this city brighter somehow. This is my life in Manchester in 1859. I'm still writing. I'm still trying to make a difference. But now there's something new. A new friend. Maybe something more. I'm excited to see what happens next. The week goes by quickly. I'm busy with my work at the newspaper. I write about the mills, about the workers, about life in Manchester. But I often think about John. Finally, it's Sunday again. I wake up early. I'm excited. I put on my nicest dress. It's blue like my eyes. I brush my hair carefully. I walk to the park. My heart beats fast. Will John be there? Will he remember? I see him before he sees me. He's sitting on our bench. Max the dog is with him. John is reading a book. He looks up and sees me. He smiles. His smile is so warm. "Sarah," he says. He stands up. "I'm so glad you came." "Hello, John," I say. "Hello, Max." I pat the dog's head. We sit down. John shows me his book. It's a book of poems. He reads one to me. His voice is nice. Poem is beautiful. It's about hope and love. We talk about books and poems. Then John asks about my work. "Have you written any new stories?" he asks. I tell him about my latest article. It's about a family who works in the mill, about their struggles and their dreams. John listens carefully. He asks good questions. "Your writing is important, Sarah," he says. "You're giving a voice to people who aren't often heard." His words make me feel good. I can see that he really understands why I write. We walk around the park. John tells me more about his work at the library. He's starting a program to teach workers to read. Many of them never had the chance to learn, he says. But it's never too late. I think about my father learning to read late in life. "That's wonderful, John," I say. "It will change their lives." As we walk, our hands touch. John takes my hand. Feels nice. We walk hand in hand. We don't talk much now. We just enjoy being together. The day goes by too quickly. Soon it's time to go home. We stand at the park gate. Neither of us wants to leave. "Sarah," John says, "I really enjoy spending time with you. Could I call on you sometime? Maybe we could have dinner." I feel happy. "Yes, John," I say. "I'd like that very much." He smiles. His eyes are bright. "Wonderful," he says. "How about next Saturday?" I nod. "Next Saturday is perfect," I say. We say goodbye. I walk home. My heart feels light. I'm smiling. At home, I sit by my window. I look out at Manchester. The city looks beautiful tonight. Or maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm seeing it through happy eyes. I think about John, about his kindness, his love for books, his desire to help others. He reminds me of the heroes in the stories I write. I take out my notebook. I start to write. I write about a librarian who changes lives. who brings light to a dark city. As I write, I think of John. This is my life in Manchester in 1859. I'm still a writer. I still have my dreams. But now there's something new. There's John. There's the possibility of love. As I fall asleep, I think about next Saturday, about dinner with John, about the future. I don't know what will happen, but I'm excited to find out. My story is still being written. And now maybe it's not just my story anymore. Maybe it's becoming our story, John's and mine, in this big, busy city of Manchester. I can't wait to see what the next chapter brings. A Growing Love in Manchester, 1859. Hello again, Sarah. I'm still in Manchester. It's been a few months since I met John. A lot has happened. Let me tell you about it. It's Saturday evening. I'm getting ready for dinner with John. We've been seeing each other every week. Sometimes we go for walks in the park. Sometimes we have dinner. Always we talk and laugh. I put on my best dress. It's green. John says it makes my eyes shine. I brush my hair and look in the mirror. I'm smiling. I'm happy. There's a knock at the door. It's John. He's holding flowers. For you, he says with a smile. The flowers are beautiful. They're daisies, my favorite. Thank you, John, I say. They're lovely. I put the flowers in water. Then we leave for dinner. We walk to a small restaurant. It's not fancy, but it's nice. The owner knows us now. He smiles when we come in. The usual table, he asks. We nod. As we eat, John tells me about his week at the library. More people are coming to learn to read, he says. His eyes are bright. He loves his work. I tell him about my latest article. It's about children working in the mills. It's a hard story to write, I say. But it's important. John takes my hand. You're making a difference, Sarah, he says. Your words are powerful. Through dinner, we walk by the river. The moon is bright. The water looks silver. We stop and look at the view. Sarah, John says. He looks serious. I love you. You're amazing. You're kind and smart and brave. You make me want to be better. My heart beats fast. I feel warm inside. I love you too, John, I say. You understand me. You support my work. You make me happy. He smiles. Then he kisses me. Sweet and gentle. When we stop, we're both smiling. We walk home hand in hand. The city seems different now. Brighter. Happier. Or maybe it's just me who feels that way. At my door, John kisses me goodnight. See you tomorrow, he asks. I nod. We meet every Sunday in the park. It's our special time. Inside, I sit by my window. I look at the flowers John gave me. I think about our evening. About John saying he loves me. I feel so happy. I take out my notebook. I start to write. I write about love, about how it can make a hard life easier, how it can bring light to dark places. As I write, I think of John, of the workers I write about, of the children in the mills. I want to bring more love, more light to their lives too. The next morning, I wake up early. It's Sunday. Park day with John. I get ready quickly. I can't wait to see him. To hark, John is waiting. Max the dog is with him. We walk and talk. We watch children play. We sit on our bench. Sarah, John says. I've been thinking. We both want to help people. Maybe we could do more together. I look at him. What do you mean? I ask. Well, he says, your writing tells people about problems. My work at the library helps people learn. What if we started a school for workers and their children? We could teach reading and writing. You could teach them to tell their own stories. I think about it. It's a big idea. It would be hard work, but it could help so many people. That's a wonderful idea, John, I say. Let's do it. We spend the rest of the day planning. We're excited. We have so many ideas. It won't be easy, but together we feel strong. We can do this. As the sun sets, we walk home. John holds my hand. We make a good team, he says. I nod. We do. At home, I start writing again. I write about our plan, about the school we want to start, about how education can change lives. As I write, I feel full of hope. This is my life in Manchester in 1859. I'm a writer. I'm in love. And now I have a new dream. To start a school with John. To help more people. To make a bigger difference. As I fall asleep, I think about the future. About John. About our school. About all the lives we might change. I'm excited. I'm a little scared too. But mostly I'm happy. This is a new chapter in my story. In our story. And I can't wait to see what happens next. Months pass. John and I work hard on our school plan. We talk to people. We look for a place. We try to get money to start. It's not easy. Some people don't like our idea. They say workers don't need education. But we don't give up. One day, I'm at the newspaper office. I'm writing about our school plan. I want people to know about it, to support it. Mr. Roberts, my boss, comes to my desk. Sarah, he says, your articles about the school are good. The people are talking about it. I smile. Thank you, Mr. Roberts, I say. It's important to us. He nods. I have news, he says. A rich man read your articles. He wants to help. He's offering money to start the school. I can't believe it. This is what we needed. I thank Mr. Roberts. Then I run to the library to tell John. John is excited too. This is wonderful, Sarah, he says. He picks me up and spins me around. We laugh together. We start working on the school right away. We find a small building. We clean it and fix it. We buy books and desks. Every day after work, we go to the school. We work late into the night. Finally, it's ready. We put a sign outside Manchester Workers' School. We're so proud. On opening day, I'm nervous. Will anyone come? John holds my hand. It will be fine, he says. He always knows how to make me feel better. People start coming in. Men and women. Boys and girls. Their clothes are old. Their hands are rough from work. But their eyes are bright. They want to learn. John and I teach together. We teach reading and writing. We teach history and science. We teach people to tell their own stories. It's hard work. We're tired all the time. But it's wonderful too. We see people learn. We see them grow. We see hope in their eyes. One evening after class, a young girl comes to me. Her name is Mary. She works in the mill. "Miss Sarah," she says, "I wrote a story, like you taught us. Can you read it?" I read her story. It's about her life in the mill. Simple but powerful. It makes me cry a little. "This is beautiful, Mary," I say. "You're a real writer now." Mary smiles. She looks so proud. This is why we started the school. For moments like this. That night, John walks me home. We're both tired but happy. "We did it, Sarah," he says. "We're making a difference." I nod. "Yes, we are," I say. "Together." He stops walking. He looks at me. "Sarah," he says, "I love you. I love our life together. I love what we're doing. Will you marry me?" My heart feels so full. "Yes, John," I say. "Yes, I'll marry you." He kisses me. We're both smiling and crying a little. We're so happy. At home, I sit by my window. I look out at Manchester, the city that's become my home. I think about my life, about John, about our school, about all the stories waiting to be told. I take out my notebook. I start to write. I write about love, about dreams coming true, about how people can change the world one story at a time. This is my life in Manchester in 1860. I'm a writer. I'm a teacher. I'm going to be a wife. My story has changed so much since I came here. But it's a good story. A happy story. And it's not over yet. There are still many chapters to write. With John. With our students. With all of Manchester. As I fall asleep, I'm smiling. I'm excited for tomorrow. For next week. For the rest of our lives. 'Cause now it's not just my story. It's our story. John's and mine. And all the people we're helping. Together, we're writing a new story for Manchester. A story of hope, of learning, of love. And I can't wait to see how it turns out. A new chapter in Manchester, 1861. Hello again, Sarah. I'm now 37 years old. I'm still in Manchester. It's been a year since I last told you my story. So much has happened. Let me tell you about it. It's early morning. I wake up and look at the man sleeping next to me. It's John, my husband. We got married 6 months ago. It was a small, simple wedding, but it was perfect for us. I get out of bed quietly. I don't want to wake John. I go to the window and look out. Manchester is waking up. I can hear the factory whistles. Workers are walking to the mills. Our life is busy now. We both still work. I write for the newspaper. John works at the library. And every evening we go to our school. The Manchester Workers' School is growing. We have more students now, adults and children. They all want to learn. I make breakfast. The smell of coffee wakes John. He comes to the kitchen, smiling. "Good morning, my love," he says. He kisses me. "Good morning," I say. We eat together. We talk about our plans for the day. About the newspaper, the library, the school. Our lives are full. But we're happy. After breakfast, we both go to work. I walk to the newspaper office. On the way, I see some of our students. They smile and wave. Makes me feel good. the office, I start writing. Today, I'm writing about our school, about how education is changing lives. Mr. Roberts, my boss, likes these stories. He says they give people hope. Lunchtime, I meet John at the park. It's our special place. We sit on our bench. We eat sandwiches. We talk about our morning. Sarah, John says, I have news. The city council wants to talk to us about the school. They might give us money to make it bigger. I'm excited. That's wonderful, John. I say. We could help more people. We talk about our dreams for the school. Maybe we could have more teachers. Maybe we could teach more subjects. We have so many ideas. After lunch, I go back to work. I finish my article. Then I start a new one. This one is about the children in the mills. It's a hard story to write, but it's important. People need to know. In the evening, John and I go to our school. It's in an old building, but inside it's full of life, full of hope. Our students are eager to learn. Today I'm teaching writing. John is teaching reading. Our students work hard. They're tired after long days at the mills, but they still come to learn. They inspire me. After class, a woman comes to me. Her name is Emma. She's one of our first students. Miss Sarah, she says, I can write letters now. I wrote to my sister in London. She wrote back. I can read her letter. Emma is smiling. Her eyes are bright. This is why we do this. This is why our school is important. Changes lives. John and I walk home together. We're tired but happy. We're making a difference, Sarah, John says. He holds my hand. Yes, we are, I say. Together. At home, I sit by the fire. I take out my notebook. I start to write. I write about Emma, about her joy in reading her sister's letter. I write about our students, about their courage, their hope. As I write, I think about my life, about how much it has changed. I came to Manchester alone. Now I have John. We have our school. We're helping people. We're changing lives. I look at John. He's reading a book. He looks up and smiles at me. My heart feels full. I'm so happy. Suddenly, I feel a little sick. I've been feeling this way for a few days now. I wonder, could I be pregnant? The thought makes me excited and a little scared. I don't tell John yet. I want to be sure. But as I go to bed that night, I put my hand on my stomach. Maybe there's a new life growing inside me. A new chapter in our story. This is my life in Manchester in 1861. I'm a wife, a writer, teacher, and maybe soon a mother. Our school is growing. Our dreams are getting bigger. There are still problems in Manchester. There's still work to do. But we're doing it. Step by step. Word by word. Story by story. As I fall asleep, I think about tomorrow. About the city council meeting. About our students. About the possibility of a baby. Life is full of challenges. But it's also full of hope. And love. John and I are writing our story together. And it's a beautiful story. I can't wait to see what the next chapter brings. Weeks pass. The city council agrees to help our school. We're so happy. We can make the school bigger now. We can help more people. One morning, I wake up feeling sick again. I'm sure now. I'm pregnant. I decide to tell John. We're having breakfast. I'm nervous. John, I say, I have news. He looks at me. He looks worried. What is it, Sarah? Are you okay? I smile. I'm more than okay, John. We're going to have a baby. John's face changes. He looks surprised. Then happy. Very happy. He stands up and hugs me. Oh, Sarah. That's wonderful. We laugh and cry a little. We're so happy. We start to plan. We talk about the baby. About our future. At work, I tell Mr. Roberts. He's happy for me. You'll be a great mother, Sarah, he says. Just like you're a great writer. In the evening, we tell our students. They're excited for us. Some of the women give me advice about babies. Makes me feel part of a big family. As my belly grows, I keep writing. I write about the school. About the changes in Manchester. And I start a new project. I'm writing a book. It's about our students. About their lives. Their struggles. Their hopes. John is wonderful. He takes care of me. He talks to the baby. He reads stories to my belly. We're both excited to be parents. One day I feel the baby move. It's amazing. I call John. He puts his hand on my belly. He feels it too. We're both crying. Happy tears. Hello, little one, John says to my belly. We can't wait to meet you. Months pass. The school keeps growing. My belly keeps growing too. I'm tired sometimes, but I'm happy. Then one night it's time. The baby is coming. John is with me. He holds my hand. It's hard. It hurts. But John is there. He supports me. Finally, we hear a cry. Our baby is here. It's a girl. She's beautiful. We name her Hope. 'Cause that's what she is. Our hope for the future. I hold Hope in my arms. John sits next to us. We're a family now. I look at John. At Hope. At our tiny daughter. I feel so much love. Welcome to the world, Hope, I say. We have so much to show you. This is my life in Manchester in 1862. I'm a wife. A mother. A writer. Teacher. Our school is growing. Our family is growing. There are still challenges. But there's also so much joy. So much love. As I hold Hope, I think about the future. About the stories we'll tell her. About the world we're trying to make better. For her. For all the children. Our story continues. John's and mine. And now Hope's too. It's a story of love. Of learning. Of making a difference. And I can't wait to see what happens next.